Hi Aries, welcome to the end of October. This is a tarot reading that is general, so I'm going to focus on anything that I can see, any themes that the cards seem to suggest that jump out at me. Now, as you can see, I've already pulled the cards, and that was because I am starting over again. I had an interruption, and I felt it would be better just to do this all over again. Now, one thing I wanted to say is that there's going to be a new moon for you on the 30th of October, and this will be in your 8th house of intimacy. The 8th house is the natural house of Scorpio. And so it relates to anything involving death, sex, and other people's money, along with the mysteries of life, such as, life after death, some of the occult studies like astrology and the tarot and things like that. So, for instance, if you have any planets there, it can kind of tinge them with a little bit of scorpionic energy. And that's what the natal chart looks at, is, the sub-influences. So that's one of the reasons why astrology is so in-depth, is that it deals with many layers of the onion. And so you can look for new beginnings in the areas that I had mentioned. The thing that would jump out at me in particular is, for instance, anything involving other people's money, like inheritances. And because we have as the overall focus is the 9 of Cups, and so this is like you getting your wish fulfilled. So if you were like in court or, having some kind of battles with other people, maybe family members, anything that has to do with the assets of another person, you will probably emerge victorious. And the 9 of Cups is associated with emotions, because it is associated with water sign energy, but it also is associated with abundance. Maybe that has to do with the fact it's a number 9 and that's connected to Jupiter or something along those lines. But, when I see the 9 of Cups, I automatically think it's almost like Pentacles in a weird way to me, because I think of, having your financial wishes come true. But anything that you have been wanting, maybe it's a new job, but it's something where there's a joy, almost like almost a gluttony, because it's so good. And if I look at the past position, I see the Queen of Cups. This could be an actual individual who's featuring into this. So it could be, it could be a mother figure, whether your mother, if this was the estate of your mother, or if you are dealing with her a lot and she is benefiting from, benefiting you financially or emotionally in some way at this time. Maybe she's supporting you emotionally in, dealing with what you're dealing with. But I feel like because it's such a positive overall, a theme, that it's probably like she's benefiting you. This could also be another person. Maybe you've gotten involved with a water sign. And so that would be a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces individual who you have fallen for. And it's kind of like the person that you've always wanted, that, dream partner. The fact that these are water cups cards means that the relationship is really a soulful relationship. It's really like on that level. And you, Aries, may feel like you hit the jackpot, because you may have, been in other relationships where it was a totally different vibe. And this one feels very special. You feel very gentle around this person. Also, this is kind of like the current energy, and this is the Knight of Pentacles. This is another card to indicate possible traits of that person. So it would be this card I read was actually connected specifically to Taurus, because it's pentacles. You see that? It could be, any earth signs, that's Virgo and Capricorn also included. But the energy around this card is kind of like nose to the grindstone when it comes to work. So it could be that you scored your dream job and now you're kind of becoming that Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight energy is usually rather chaotic, and yet with the Pentacles, with the suit of Pentacles, the Knight becomes almost plodding and very predictable and very consistent, and therefore very good at amassing money, which is the Knight of Pentacles goal. So this could describe the person that you have fallen in love with, but it could also be a facet of you if you have recently started a new job. Now here's where it gets a little tricky, because we do have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. I'm reading this as this is the challenge position. So you see that portal, you see that there's a new phase in life when it comes to your work life, or if you're with somebody who's of the earth element or is an earthy type of person. There is that new phase that you are to be going through, but maybe there's some kind of a hold up. Maybe you were set to start the new job. Maybe you're like raring to go, and maybe you have this kind of, you've rolled up your shirt sleeves, you're ready to do it, and something is holding back. Maybe the timing is off for some reason. I'm trying to think about why that would be. Well, it's funny because your 6th house of work is actually Virgo, and we did have a Mercury retrograde through there in the month of September, and then there was still like a residue of shadow energy afterwards. So it's possible that maybe things got pushed back because of this. And so if that's the case, or, and maybe this is a Virgo individual, if that's the case, you're just going to have to, have patience, which is like not your strongest suit. You're very enthusiastic, and maybe you're raring to go, and you can't do it. Let me see the higher message. Let me see if this explains things more. The 6 of Cups. So this is a card of the past, and you're being asked by the universe to look at this area of your life for some reason. Now, it could be that you're being, told that your life is about to get a lot less complicated. Maybe it's going to be there's going to be a purity about it in some way. But I think an even more likely scenario is that the past figures into it somehow. Maybe something that you've wanted since you were young is coming into fruition. And the only thing that is kind of holding you up is outer things. It's not you, and you're just going to have to bide your time for whatever reason and not try to force things. But the 6 of Cups is also, I think, asking you to reflect upon, what do you want out of life? I think of Aries people as possessing a lot of those qualities represented by the 6 of Cups, because one of the most refreshing qualities of Aries is their tendency to be very open and spontaneous. And, the spontaneity that we associate with children is something that a lot of people, they get rid of as they get older. They hide behind masks. And they can even hide behind masks in relationships and personal relationships. And as the whole point of what I was talking about with that new moon is the idea of getting, going as deep as possible with another person. And maybe that's something that you're going to do. But Aries, it's like this combination of not being superficial, but being so eager to get on to the next thing that they sometimes never go deep enough into one area. And I think that maybe some of you are getting the message that you have to do that in order to really engage something, in a full way. Whether it's a relationship or whether you're trying to learn something, because Aries are very quick learners. And it's easy for Aries to kind of get by the seat of their pants, just trying to, garner enough information to be able to kind of wing it. But in order to be like in order to have a specialty or to specialize in something, you have to really get to be an expert on it. And so it all depends on, the area of life that this reading is significant for you. If this is a relationship matter, then you have to, try to get below the surface and deal with things. And I guess what I'm getting around to in a very convoluted way is that you do possess a lot of these qualities that the energy of children possess, but you also want to be very, it's not so much about just being like open, but also that you're willing to dive deep, that you're not willing to just be one-dimensional in relationships. But the other thing too is with the Six of Cups is that it could relate to children, some concerns with children that need to be kind of looked at in the context of what else is happening. But also it could be that you're getting in touch with those, like I said earlier, you're getting in touch with those things that you've always wanted to do. And so you're fulfilling that initial mission that you had. Maybe you got lost along the way. The advice is represented by the Page of Wands. So this could be the beginning of something. Again, talking about a relationship. But this is kind of like that fire energy, that excitement. You could hear a message that really is exciting. Maybe the thing that you've been waiting for, because that's what I said before. It could be that you're waiting to hear from something and there's some delay. And then it's all systems go. And pages can be like the start of something. But again, they can relate to children. They can relate to children. Maybe you're trying to conceive children. Some of these cards are Cups cards. This is like a mother, very, very maternal energy with both the Queen and the Cups together like that. So you might find out you're pregnant, or you might find out that that you have that job that you've been waiting on, and it brings a lot of excitement. And maybe that's when that card kicks in. And the outcome is another Wands card, Nine of Wands. This one is more of a kind of I was going to say like a wary type of an energy, but it can be just simply having a sense of boundaries, having a sense of like it's almost like even like with this card, that maybe you're going to be very organized and more meaning business than usual, and protective of what the good that you have. Maybe you have so much good stuff happening that you have to kind of keep it close to your vest and not necessarily share it with anybody right now, because there might be people out there who want to try to challenge you in some way. I really feel like something is happening, particularly I would say with these two cards, that something really fulfilling and exciting is in store for you. And maybe you just have to, make sure you don't go overboard about it, because, you know, and contain it. And, you know, kind of just keep a lookout and make sure that everything is functioning as it should. So, great, Aries. Good luck to you. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great rest of October. Bye.